Hi, do you ever pick up your phone and click on your Instagram Reels or your TikTok For You page and you start scrolling and you're realizing that it's kind of like your phone is reading your mind? I'm going to explain a little personal experience I had the other day. I wanted to cut my bangs really bad, and I was searching on the internet, on Pinterest, looking at bangs, what I'm going to show my hairdresser. I'm not getting them anymore, but you get the idea. And then next thing I know, I'm scrolling on TikTok and it's either hairdressers telling me that I'm an idiot for wanting to cut them myself or showing me the right techniques to use if I were to do that myself. And that moment that I'm talking about, when your phone just feels like a little bit too personalized and weird, like it's reading your mind, is how I chose this topic. My name is Chloe. I'm a communications major, so I'm obviously spending a lot of time thinking about how media works and why our feeds are looking the way that they do. And after watching this TED Talk, it honestly made a lot of sense. I watched Oz Perlman's Art of Reading Minds, and he literally admits in his talk that he's not a psychic, he's just really good at reading people. And it kind of did a little thing like this in my brain where I was like, oh my gosh, it's the same thing as our algorithms. Our apps are doing the same thing. Today, I'm also going to talk about content curation, which is basically how the apps that we're using decide what we see and how we should build these algorithms that feel really personalized to us. I chose this because I started noticing how specific my feed was getting, and I was like, all right, this just isn't random anymore. So today, I'm going to go through content curation and what it means, how it connects to the TED Talk, the Art of Reading Minds, and why this actually matters for the way that we think and interact with media in our day-to-day lives. So first of all, content curation is basically just how platforms sort through everything online. It's literally millions of posts, videos, articles, and then your apps decide what you personally are being shown. It's the reason that your feed looks different than your friends when you guys are on the same app, liking the same stuff, and sharing videos. According to the concept of curation, the whole point is to make the internet feel less overwhelming and more tailored. Apps pay attention to what you like, what you comment on, how long you're watching videos, and the posts that you pause on without even interacting with them. These little tiny behaviors end up shaping the version of the internet that you experience. It's kind of nice, though, I will say, in a way, because if I was getting stuff that I wasn't interested in, I wouldn't be scrolling on their apps for as long as I am. So it's kind of nice that we're seeing this little filtered reality and that it's built for us, but not necessarily by us, if that makes sense. And that's what made me think of the TED Talk that I watched. So I watched the TED Talk when choosing my topic, The Art of Reading Minds by Oz Perlman, and it really stuck with me because the whole time I was thinking about the connection to our algorithms on our phones and our apps. In the talk, Perlman basically is reading people's minds on stage, but he's not doing anything weird, magical, supernatural. He is just using psychology, body language, and tiny patterns that people don't realize that they're showing. Are you picking up the pattern here? According to Perlman and the talk, humans reveal way more than they think, and those small clues make our thoughts surprisingly easy to predict. And that made me think about how apps track us. We're revealing information constantly, even though we don't realize it, and it's not in physical person. We just think it's harmless. We're scrolling or liking videos, but it's all data at the end of the day. And data becomes the foundation for what we're being shown in our day-to-day lives when we're scrolling through our phones, because we all do it. And the big realization that I had after watching this was you don't really need a magician to read your mind when an algorithm is going to do it for you every single day. And that brings me to why all of this actually matters, instead of like, oh my gosh, my phone's reading my mind, because it's not. I chose this topic because the more that I'm paying attention to it, the more I'm realizing that content curation is shaping how we think and how we view our lives without us ever noticing. We start believing that certain things are normal just because they show up on our feed more, and we think that trends are bigger than they are, opinions are so much bigger than they are and more popular. With girls, beauty standards, they're being pushed onto us every single day over and over again. And even the way that we're viewing our relationships in the real world. We're viewing other people's success constantly, body image, and whatever gets influenced by what we're being shown repeatedly. And honestly, once I'm understanding that curated content isn't random, it makes me look at my feed differently. I can tell when something I'm genuinely interested in shows up, and like when the app is deciding that it wants it to be interesting to me. And I think that's really important for us because so much of our lives is online. And I'm not saying delete the apps, but I'm just saying maybe you want to look into it a little bit more. And yeah, so just to wrap everything up, talked about how curated our feeds actually are and how Oz Perlman's TED Talk shows that we're way easier to predict than we think. And it matters that we pay attention to what apps are choosing for us. So honestly, the point that I'm trying to get to is we shouldn't be scared of it. It's just that we need to realize that our feeds aren't really random. It's just you interacting and your phone collecting data. And once you know that, you kind of start noticing that what you're watching, if it's actually you or what it's just the algorithm trying to keep you scrolling through your phone. And that's basically it. Just something we should all be a little bit more conscious of.